Your opponent Michael Chandler was kind of overlooked initially by the rest of the top five in the lightweight division, but you've made it clear from the beginning that you'd like to fight him and welcome him to the UFC. Is there any specific reason why you've vouched for a fight against a newcomer?
I don't feel like he was overlooked or they didn't rate his skills. I feel like they didn't want to take the risk of fighting an unranked opponent. I feel like they didn't want to put their ranking on the line. But I'm someone that welcomes a new challenge. I've taken short notice fights. I've taken fights with people ranked much higher than me at the time. I just want to get out there and compete against the best in the world. Regardless of rankings, I feel like Michael Chandler is one of the best lightweights in the world. So that's who I want to test my skills against.
This will be your first time competing on Fight Island, and I believe the fight is during early morning hours. Did you have to make any sort of changes to your schedule in order to adjust to these unusual timings?
No, it's pretty good coming from New Zealand. I'm waking up in the morning at about 4 a.m., which is 1 p.m. New Zealand time. So I feel like I'm just getting waking up at 4 a.m. but getting a massive sleep in. So it's been pretty easy to adjust.
This will be a big opportunity for you, of course. You're fighting Michael Chandler in his debut in a card headlined by two former champions in Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. And now Khabib Nurmagomedov says that he has raised the stakes. He will keep a close eye on on the lightweights of this card. Given you walk out with the win this weekend, how would you capitalize on this momentum? Could you possibly call out someone, or will you wait for the right moment at the right time?
I feel like who I ask for after this fight or who I call out after this fight will completely depend on the nature of the performance or how impressive the performance is. The champion himself, if you put on an impressive performance, that could be warranted. But I feel like it comes down to what happens on the night. I feel like it's not, if you get a close decision victory or something like that, it's not justified. That's not what the champion. That's not the terms of his conditions of coming back and giving you an opportunity to fight one of the pound for pound or the pound for pound best fighter in the world. That's a great opportunity. So I feel like the performance will warrant the call out.
Speaking of the main event, you faced Dustin Poirier in your last fight in Vegas. That was one of the best fights of 2020. How do you think this rematch goes between him and Conor?
I feel like it's not going to go like the first fight. I feel like it's not going to be a early stoppage like their first contest. I feel like Dustin Poirier is a completely different fighter at this weight class. I feel like he's one of the bigger guys, definitely one of the most durable, one of the fittest, which matches up well with Conor. Whose energy systems have, because he uses so much energy trying to knock his opponents out. He definitely does. His energy does wane at some points throughout the fight, whereas Poirier's does not. So I feel like they match up incredibly well. I don't feel like it's going to be an early knockout like everyone says. Like Connor's been saying, I feel like we're going to see a 5-round battle.
Before I let you go, you'll have to stay in Abu Dhabi for a month after the fight. Did you figure out on what plans you plan on doing for the next 4 weeks?
A good traveler doesn't plan his journey. So I'm going out there and I'm just going to experience the culture, experience the cities, experience Abu Dhabi. Hopefully get over to Dubai, have some friends there, spend some time in that city, and just travel and experience the UAE and its culture.
Well, I hope you have a good time, and thank you for your time, and good luck for your fight this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Can you talk about the emotions this fight week compared to others? Because you've been part of big fights, you've headlined in New Zealand, which I'm sure was a big one also. But how is this different with everything going on and the stakes for this fight?
I feel like there's a lot of excitement around this card. There's definitely far more excitement than there usually would be around some of the other bigger cards that I fought on. But there's not as much. There's more excitement, I feel, but I feel like there's less pressure. I feel like being in the co-main event spot, the pressure is in the main event to you're carrying the weight of the whole event. You're carrying the show. So I feel like the pressure's on the main event. So I'm just feeding off the getting motivated by the excitement of the event. But I don't feel like there's much pressure on me to perform.
Going back to the Habib announcement, there was obviously so much attention on it on the broadcast Saturday. I want to know what it's like for you, because obviously being one of the top lightweights, you're kind of in that conversation when people talk about it. Are you invested in the whole will he or won't he come back? Or by this point, are you over it and you're just ready to fight whoever they give you afterward?
I'm excited by it. I'm not over it. I'm not forcing him to make a decision or anything like that. The decision is his. My eye is fixedly firm. Just being so close, my eye is fixedly firmed on the title. So I see past of who will be next. It will be whoever. I definitely know that with a win, there is nothing but massive fights. The winner of the main event, an impressive performance could draw Khabib back, or it's definitely going to be someone else in that top five. I feel like I'm either in with the shot at the title, or it puts me one fight away from the title. So I feel like I'm extremely close.
What is your message to the fans who will be showing up to the party a little bit early and they'll be watching you versus Michael Chandler on Saturday?
I think they know what to expect. I think they know that this is going to be, if you go back and you watch Michael Chandler's fights, he starts incredibly fast. He starts incredibly aggressively. But I'm happy to match that. I'm happy to go out there, and then I've got some very good finishes ready for him. I've set a lot of traps, and I'm ready to knock Michael Chandler out.
Thank you, Dan. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic. Your line is open.
And how are you, sir?
Yeah, very well.
Fantastic. I just want to ask you, obviously the route for you to be in Abu Dhabi and obviously have to stay a long length. What is the entire quarantine process been like for you, from getting authorization to leave New Zealand and then arriving in Abu Dhabi and then post fight? What is the whole procedure going to be?
Leaving's not too bad at all. Leaving's the easy part. I just had to get a couple of tests. Me and my team who were traveling with me, we had to get a couple of corona tests. We got on a plane in Auckland, stopped in KL, went to Abu Dhabi, drove from Abu Dhabi. We landed in Dubai, and then we drove from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. Just went through a border testing station along the way. And then we got to here on Yas Island, on Fire Island. So getting here is the easy part. Going home is a bit more of a process. My isolation is I didn't manage to get a ticket in managed isolation until the 21st of February. So I've got 4 weeks after the fight, which I'm going to spend in Abu Dhabi and then Dubai before I can make my way back to Auckland, where I live, and spend the next 2 weeks in quarantine. So it's going to be about a 2 months trip all up.
Long time. Definitely a long time. Does that kind of commitment away from your family, obviously with young kids, does that give you extra bit of motivation to make that trip worthwhile?
It definitely gives me motivation from the last fight, because I did come so close and I came up short against Dustin Poirier, and sitting in that hotel room for 2 weeks with a salty taste in my mouth. That was something that I am adamant that's not going to happen again. I'm going to go back and spend that 2 weeks in isolation with a smile. It's not the point of wanting to get a victory. I am hell bent on getting a victory, because I don't want to repeat that same process. So there is added motivation because of the quarantine process.
Obviously, looking at Michael Chandler coming in with high credentials, but we know the UFC is the cream of the crop. Do you feel like you have a bit of extra? You have to prove that the UFC is the best of the best, and coming in to the UFC, whoever you face, is no easy task?
I definitely feel like his the excitement and hype around Michael Chandler is deserved. All of that, I feel like, is definitely warranted. Once you truly take a good look at his career and what he's achieved in the Bellator cage, multiple-time world champion, competing in there at a high level for a long period of time, it's definitely warranted. But I do feel like I'm more experienced at a high level, and I fought many different types of opponents, and I truly feel like he's never fought anyone like me, like a tall, rangy striker who can defend takedowns well. I've studied his whole career, and I can't point out a single fighter that is the same style as myself.
And you're obviously coming off 2 fight of the night performances. Do you think the style matchup between yourself and Michael Chandler might warrant a third in a row for you?
I'm gunning for performance of the night. I'm not gunning for fight of the night in this one. The plan of the last two was take some hits and give some hits. The plan of this fight is hit and don't get hit. Get out of there with a flawless performance and get that performance of the night bonus. I'm sick of that fight of the night bonus.
I just wanted to check with you. I heard you talking about this earlier on. How do you describe the mental side during this crazy time? Obviously, we know camps are a bit strange and up and down with the COVID stuff. How do you mentally stay prepared in this crazy time, keeping yourself ready at any given time, ready to go?
This time will separate. I feel like we'll separate the true fighters from the guys that don't really want it. I feel like even at a lower level, like guys starting out their careers, and let's say they're going through the lockdowns. It was the same thing that happened back home in New Zealand. They said, "Oh, we're locking this place down," and guys were smiling. I saw fighters that were smiling and happy to take the time off, and were like, "Oh man, I'm cool. I get, well, the government said that we get a rest," so they just sat on the couch and play computer games and watch TV. But the guys that really wanted it, they stayed fit. They went out and did the road work. They did the crazy stuff. They did the burpees in the backyard, the push-ups, the pull-ups, and they stayed fit. So I truly feel like the times like this, the challenges at this time are separating the real fighters, the cream of the crop.
Last one from me, Dan. I just wanted to ask, obviously, you've got a mentorship program going. You're doing a lot of coaching out of your Gym Combat Academy. How do you think that affects your progress as a fighter?
Oh, massively. I have brought, one of my students with me for this fight. So that shows, the development of my gym and the amount of time that I put into the academy. That's the sport is my passion. Competing is my passion, but also coaching and training other fighters is another passion of mine. I just love the sport and every aspect of it. So I feel like I learn from teaching as much as I do from training.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Ezekiel Bergonzi with Somos MMA. Your line is open.
Hey, hello, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
What aspects of your game plan did you change from the Poirier fight to this one?
I just feel like they're two completely different kind of fighters. Dustin Poirier, a southpaw pressure fighter, striker. Chandler's a pressure fighter as well, but orthodox, and they have very, very different styles. So I feel like the preparation was different because I could actually train for this fight. So I think that's the main change from the Poirier fight to this fight. So I'm far more confident in the preparation for this fight. I feel like I've had a full camp. I've had a lot of time to focus in on what I'm going to do, my game. So I'm definitely confident in my preparation.
And this will be the first pay-per-view of UFC to have fans in attendance after a year. So how do you feel about that, having fans again cheering you in this year?
Oh, I'm excited to have the fans back. I can't wait. To get out there. That's, it's 2,000 fans, but that's 2,000 fans more than my last fight in Las Vegas. So I'm grateful that there's 2,000 there. I'm going to be listening out and I'm going to be feeding off the energy. So I hope they're nice and loud, and I hope they're yelling stuff out, whether they hate me, whether they love me. I hope they're just making noise.
The chance that Khabib might return after this pay-per-view is an extra motivation for you, or you are only focused on Michael Chandler?
A mix of both. I use it as, motivation. I don't let it distract me whatsoever. It's definitely motivating to know that, and it's a reminder that I'm very close to the title. Being, having that opportunity there, that you could be one impressive performance away from fighting for a title. That's incredibly motivating within itself. But it's definitely not a distraction. I'm just using that as fuel to the fire to motivate my fight against Michael Chandler.
And last one for me, if you had to choose Conor McGregor or a rematch against Dustin Poirier for a title shot or a title fight, who will you choose?
I would choose whoever wins the fight. I myself want to compete against the best fighters in the world, whether that be Khabib, Dustin, or McGregor. The winner of that fight, I feel like, will be the best active lightweight in the world. So that's who I want to compete against. I just want to fight against the best, so that when I win the title, I can truly say it's undisputed.
Thank you and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMA Fighting. Your line is open.
Hey, Dan. I know you have a lot of respect for Michael Chandler and him as a very dangerous opponent coming into this fight. But when you look at your last few opponents, into Paul Felder, Dustin Poirier, would you put Michael Chandler in that same category? Do you believe he's of that same level?
I think he is. I think he deserves to be in that conversation. Just going back and watching his career and watching his game and what he's achieved and his performance inside of the cage, I definitely feel like he's one of the best lightweights in the world. But we're gonna see. I'm just as interested as you guys. I'm just as interested as the media and the fans to see how he stacks up in the division, because I'm battle tested in the UFC. I've earned my spot. I've proven that I deserve to be here. Well, let's see if he does.
When you made your UFC debut 6 years ago, it was, under a lot different circumstances, stepping into a co-main event, but it wasn't home for you. It wasn't New Zealand. Obviously, you were able to get a big win, but we know and we've seen a lot of great fighters come into their UFC. It's a different feeling, different spotlight, the attention, the media, all the things are different. How much will that, do you believe that could affect Michael Chandler in this fight? Because as much experience as he has, he's never had it under the UFC banner.
Yeah, he's been, he's fought for, world titles for $1 million. He's fought in some pretty incredible circumstances, and he's been doing that for a long time. You can go back and look at his career. His third fight was in Bellator. He's been fighting the best guys in the world for an incredibly long period of time. So I don't think it will affect him. I feel like he's definitely ready for this. He came to the last time to fight. He's more experienced than me on Fight Island. He came last time, made the weight, was cage side at the event. So he's been through the process here. He's experienced it. So I'm not looking for any kind of weakness there. I feel like I'm going to be facing the best version of Michael Chandler.
You mentioned earlier you don't want fight of the night, you want performance of the night. And we've seen it, more recently, guys getting in these wars, and we just saw it where, Calvin Kattar showed incredible heart, but he also absorbed, 400 some odd. And then you hear Max Holloway saying, I advise guys not to spar, don't take that kind of damage. Do you think about those kind of things going into a fight like this? Like, trying to avoid that damage, trying to avoid, play better defense, obviously make an exciting fight, but you don't want to, as you said, you don't want fight of the night. You don't want that kind of damage, right?
I know that's not something that I chase. That's not something that I'm going to go out there and chase. But sometimes, if the fighter is skilled enough, if the fighter is on the level where you have to dig real deep and you have to prove something, I know that I'm capable of that. I spent an hour in the cage last year with the best fighters in the world, and I was digging for the entire hour. That was an hour where I was truly testing my character, so that I know that I'm capable of that. That's not something that I'm going to go out there and rely on. It's not something that I'm going out there to look for. If I can outclass him, I plan on outclassing him. I don't plan on lowering my technique or lowering my capabilities purely to put on an exciting match. I feel like that will just naturally come with an impressive performance if he can match my skill set.
And last one to that point, Michael obviously on his record, but he has gotten involved in some of those wars of his own. 2 fights with Eddie Alvarez, which might be 2 of the best fights in MMA history. Are you in a way looking forward to testing him and seeing if he can, if he can take your shots, if he can stick in there with you? Because again, he has shown that toughness, but again, like I said, it would say a lot if you were able to get him out of there early, right?
Yeah, I feel like we both want to do the same thing. We both want to prove our class. He wants to prove that he belongs at this level. I want to prove that I'm of a different level. I'm a world-class, elite level lightweight fighter. That's what I plan on going out there and doing.